What food or drink sucks, even if most people won't admit it? Beer, I swear to god IDK, why people insist it's like the most refreshing thing to drink and a thing like a cold beer on a summer's day. Oh bitch, I just need a water. And I'm not talking alcohol, I drink mostly liquor, but my dad is just obsessed with beer and I just don't get it. Honestly, cotton candy is not that great. It's sticky, it pretty much has no flavor besides sweet, and it turns your mouth colors. I would much rather eat ice cream or something. Beer is terrible, but you have to acquire a taste for it, say beer people. If I have to work at liking it, there's already a problem. You know what I don't have to acquire a taste for? Stuff that is already delicious. First time I ever had pizza, it was great. Cigarettes. What the actual fuck? I tried smoking to be cool in HS, but that shit was nasty. I quit before I got cool or addicted. Bloody Marys. 14 ounces of spicy tomato juice, mixed seasonings you'd use on red meat, and for some reason a celery stalk is delicious and appropriate for breakfast. Abso-fucking-lutely not. I'm the same vein, Micheladus. No Mexico slander, shit's just gross. Bang energy drinks. Lots of people who did not try it think it is the holy water when reality it tastes good for the first 4 swigs then becomes like acid. After the 3 hours of unnatural energy you crash down like a bear. Don't recommend to anyone. When I was a kid, my mom would never let me eat Lunchables. I would sit there in the cafeteria looking in envy at kids making their own pizzas and stacking all their bologna cheese crackers. Kids would basically brag about whose mom loved them the best based on Lunchables. There was a whole ass popularity hierarchy of children based solely on these goddamn Lunchables. When I finally got my license, one of the first things I did was drive to a grocery store, but 5 different types of Lunchables, and inhale them in the parking lot. What a colossal fucking letdown. One of the biggest wastes of money I have ever had. Cannot believe one tiny slab of uncooked pita bread smeared with cold tomato sauce, topped with tasteless shavings of cheese claimed to be a meal. How any child got full off of them is a mystery. ECOLESLAWEE. Circus peanuts. It's like eating gum that isn't chewy, but instead turns to sand when bitten into, with artificial banana flavoring, but it's orange. Brando. Only idiots would drink that stuff. Y'all ain't playing right. It says even if most people won't admit it, but then you are listing things that most people would agree is gross. SMH. But I have to throw this out there, because even though I cannot believe someone thought this was a good idea, the entire bag disappeared at our lake house this year, so everyone else but me seemed to like them. The new Oreos with Pop Rocks in them. WTF. And I didn't know until it was in my mouth. Just thought they were red, white and blue for the Olympics, but normal flavored. I didn't expect fireworks in my mouth. And somehow it was worse that they weren't flavored. No. Just no. They need a much bigger warning label. The healthy version of things. I don't mean actual healthy food, but the things that are all here is some ice cream with all the joy, soul, deliciousness, and sugar removed. For people saying artificial cherry flavor reminds them of cough syrup, it's interesting how this is generational changes by decade. My wife hates artificial cherry got this reason, and I don't. But I hate artificial orange/citrus for this reason and she doesn't. Edited, you're la terrible lol. Edit 2, so I asked my wife to make sure and her perspective was she hated cherry and cherry was her 80s flavor, but she said grape was the 90s flavor, and not orange like I thought as a 90s youth. This made me ask my mom, and she said my stuff was orange flavored, but also I always got the prescription meds from the hospital, because of my asthma. Not over the counter, which was grape. Mom was a nurse, so I'm going to believe it, but do your own research lol. People in the comments saying root beer in other countries is super interesting. Any food that pretends to be another food, it's never good. I have friends that act like they can't tell the difference between rice and cauliflower rice, and I know it's make believe. There is no way they can't taste the difference. I'm like this with almost any substitute. Just call it what it is and roll with it, because I'm skeptical of all of them at this point. Play-Doh. Anything with stevia in it. I was doing keto and tried doing the stevia sweetener for the occasional treat. Yeah, sure things tasted sweet, but then there's this soapy artificial taste that I have never been able to get used to. Bleh. Edit. Holy crap. I guess I hit a nerve. Thanks for the awards. I don't know what they do. For what it's worth, all artificial sweeteners taste awful to me, but stevia is the worst of them all. I get headaches and an itchy tongue from some of the others like erythritol. I think people are starting to figure this out, but Red Delicious apples. They are bitter, mealy textured garbage in the worst tasting apple. Most American milk chocolate candies. The chocolate is so low quality and packed full of sugar it doesn't even taste like chocolate anymore. For me, anything that is sugar free or a sugar substitute, whatever sweetener they use, has a really awful taste to me, and no matter how much a person *SWEARS* I won't be able to taste the difference. I can, and it's always awful. Also anything with red food coloring, any cake with red frosting, or red velvet cake just tastes like dye to me. I thought red velvet cake was supposed to be colored with beets, but every time I've been forced to try it, it's always tasted extremely bitter because of the dye. I also hate it because I'm lactose intolerant and cream cheese frosting gives me diarrhea. Vegan cheese. My girlfriend is vegan, and it sucks like 90% of the time. We mostly just use some kind of substitute if we are sharing a meal. Edit. Now my GF wants to try all these suggestions and I have to continue to eat vegan cheese. Thanks a lot guys. DD pounds. Fondant. Sunny Delight is and has always been tangy battery acid. Gluten-free bread. SpaghettiOs. I must have been delusional as a kid. Alcohol. If it did not get you drunk I really cannot imagine it'd be that popular on taste alone. IPAs. I am sure there are plenty of people that genuinely like them, but God forbid you say you don't like IPAs. They are gross to me, and I love beer/wine/alcohol. Turkish Delight was not worth 3 human lives. Edit. I live in America so maybe it tastes better in Europe, but I don't live there, and I'm not about to make it by hand right now at least. Red Delicious apples. Thea red, sure, but they are not delicious. Edit. Seems like Fuji and Honeycrisp are favorites. Guess I'll have to find a Honeycrisp apple and give it a try sometime. Edit 2. Adding Pink Lady apples as well to the list. Angalas and envy. Edit 3. Tilredit has very strong opinions about apples. I used to think, having learned what goes into it, that classic soft serve ice cream was the most horrible food adjacent thing. I recently got an orange cream shake at Arby's. I don't know what goes in it, but I can tell you this, *it doesn't melt*. It just sort of separates and hardens into something resembling Play-Doh. Jack Daniels. It's obviously a popular whiskey, but it's honestly fucking awful. Edit. Even with Coke or any other mixer I think is still a bit rough. Durian. Visiting Singapore and there's this long line for durian ice cream. Waited an hour and my mom said it tasted like garlic. Greater than sign colon open bracket. Starbucks. Always tastes burnt. Food so spicy you can't actually taste it. Come. Beer I swear to God IDK. Why people insist it's like the most refreshing thing to drink or nothing like a cold beer on a summer's day. Oh bitch I just need a water. And I'm not talking alcohol. I drink mostly liquor, but my dad is just obsessed with beer and I just don't get it. Honestly, cotton candy is not that great. It's sticky, it pretty much has no flavor besides sweet, and it turns your mouth colors. I would much rather eat ice cream or something. Beer is terrible, but you have to acquire a taste for it, say beer people. If I have to work at liking it, there's already a problem. You know what I don't have to acquire a taste for? Stuff that is already delicious. First time I ever had pizza, it was great. Cigarettes. What the actual fuck? I tried smoking to be cool in HS, but that shit was nasty. I quit before I got cool or addicted. Bloody Marys. 14 ounces of spicy tomato juice, mixed seasonings you'd use on red meat, and for some reason a celery stalk is delicious and appropriate for breakfast. Abso-fucking-lutely not. I'm the same vein. Micheladus. No Mexico slander. Shit's just gross. Bang energy drinks. Lots of people who did not try it think it is the holy water when reality it tastes good for the first 4 swigs then becomes like acid. After the 3 hours of unnatural energy you crash down like a bear. Don't recommend to anyone.